believed in work, and everybody there was dedicated to that work. I'll never forget, he told me one time, he told everybody this, that every lap that you ran in the halls, you would add a day to your life. So I figured I should live about 150 years. It is his work ethic, and he expected everybody to be the same way. And most of his teams were successful because of their work ethic. And he believed in being in shape. And normally the third period, we would outlast somebody.
When we came here, wrestling, of course, he was also a football coach too, so it was a good thing he was able to get athletes to compete in both sports and was able to pick out, the guys he wanted to wrestle as well. But wrestling had grown. Of course, the big thing back then, there was just one class at that particular time, so everybody competed against each other. But Benjamin Russell's domination during the 60s had just helped everything. And then that's one thing so many people forget with Coach Lee that may be different from the way it is today, was how much he promoted the sport with other schools. He would go out, help them establish programs, serve as a mentor to coaches at other schools. He would also, of course, he took the wrestlers here to different camps and those kind of things. So he promoted the sport as well as, being a good coach too.
Coaching that Coach Lee did, he was so confident in his ability to work with people and make them understand and follow his advice. He taught wrestling like you teach baseball. Like baseball, they say, okay, you center fielder, man on first, man on third, ball's hit you on line drive, what do? He taught wrestling the same way. He'd say, okay, you wrestling so-and-so from Huntsville, he's gonna take a leg dive on you, what are you gonna do? If that doesn't work, what's going to be your next move? So everybody, it wasn't just plan A, it was plan B, C, D. He coached us that way. And we used to run those halls until I thought we were going to drop, but we were always, just like Steve said, we were always in better shape than the other team. And when it came to that third period, it really paid off.
Coach Lee is the one that started it. Then he wanted to wrestle, he wanted me to wrestle, and Daddy didn't want me to wrestle. He thought it was going to be like this pro stuff. Coach Lee said no. So I wrestled, got to be state champion. Then I'd come back every year, and I'd help Coach Lee. I remember one that I wrestled for the finals with Wayne Williams of Opelika. And I walked outside, he was standing there smoking a cigarette. I came back in, I told Coach Lee about it. Coach Lee said, put the pressure on him. Said don't let him breathe. And they'll beat him 2-0.
I think he probably coached in a similar fashion both. He worked you really hard. You always felt like you were better prepared physically than the other team. I never recall feeling like at the end of a game we were going to be out-hustled and outplayed. So it was pretty consistent, the way he worked you.
We were at the end of his career, so he had a lot of years of experience, and so I think it was just the fact that he knew what he was doing. He had this way of making you do things and do it faster. I remember we used to go through all the drills, and we used to do them very, very fast, and he had to, because sometimes we had 50 or 60 people on the mat trying to go through the same drill. So we were able to do the things he wanted us to do, and if you were able to do the things you wanted to do, and he always had you ready for the match that you was going to wrestle.
I guess you don't appreciate things unless you're there and you saw it. But the thing that always amazed me was there were kids that came and practiced every day and never made the team. And Coach Lee would take a couple of matches and let some of the kids that had not won out to make the team, he'd let them wrestle. But I know a lot of kids that out every year and never made the team, but they stayed there and wrestled because of Coach Lee. That's how the influence he had.
We were down towards the end of Coach's career, but the things like we said, the Mann brothers, the Foshis, Buster Sellers was one, Larry Hill, Chester Neely. It just goes on and on. I mean, it's like a who's who of people. And, you know, and a remarkable thing about all those guys too, not only were they successful wrestlers, but they've gone on and been successful people, great fathers, you know, representatives in their communities. And so it was Randy Lee, Scotty Howell, Ricky McQuiston. I mean, we could just go on and on naming guys who had wrestled during that time that, as I said, have just made trademarks throughout the communities wherever they've been.
Well, it's gratifying. It's gratifying that he's getting the accolades I think he deserves. I was at his first induction into the High School Hall of Fame, and I'm gonna be at this one too. So I'm just happy to have been a part of a small part of what he did.
I know he would really appreciate it. He thought a lot of things like this. I know that when he got inducted in the State Hall of Fame, he really enjoyed it. And I wished he was here, but you don't live forever.